Well, we've heard about the great resignation for months now, people leaving their jobs in record numbers. It's creating an interesting dynamic in the labor market. You see, on one end of the economy, you have more than 10 million job openings. Millions quit their job each month. On the other, you have record low unemployment. Economists say full unemployment exists at 5%. Right now, it's about 3.5. So we took a closer look at the economy to try and help make sense of just what is going on.
Our economy has gone from being on the mend to being on the move.
Americans are also back on the move. Some of the strongest job gains are in leisure and hospitality. At the same time, employers can't fill jobs fast enough. There are nearly 2 job openings for every unemployed worker, and people are still quitting jobs at near record rates, roughly 47 million last year.
Most quitters are job switchers.
Nick Bunker is an economist at job search website Indeed.com.
New projects means new project managers.
It's still very much a worker's market. Whether you're unemployed or you currently have a job, there's lots of options out there right now.
Sounds like you're saying quitters do win in this case.
Sometimes quitters prosper.
I told her I wasn't doing this anymore. I said it wasn't for me.
You quit?
Yeah, I quit.
Ethan Rose used to work at a hotel for $15 an hour.
They were disrespectful. All the employees were stressed out, so nobody really got along with each other.
When he logged on to job placement app InstaWork,
there are places you can go where the managers will treat you great, so you can get paid what you deserve. That's a pretty heavy competitor.
His new job pays $25 an hour. Overall, average wages are up 5.6% over last year.
Having a big increase sounds great until you realize that inflation's running at about 8%.
Any increase in wages has to be taken in context here.
Absolutely. I mean, look, it hurts people who make less money because a bigger portion of their total income is going to energy and is going to food and is going to rent.
Right now, inflation is the #1 concern across the country, and a new Gallup poll reveals that Americans are more concerned about inflation now than at any time since 1985. Carter Evans, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, President Joe Biden says the new job report really excited him. He said it sends a clear message about the direction of the economy.
Americans are back to work, and that's good news for millions of families who have a little more breathing room. And the dignity that comes from earning a paycheck, just the dignity of having a job. And more Americans get jobs as they do. It's going to help ease the supply pressures we've seen. And that's good news for fighting inflation. It's good news for our economy, and it means that our economy has gone from being on the mend to being on the move.
Okay, on the other side of that, the president did not answer questions about rising inflation. Some economists worry inflation outpaces the wage growth. The job market shows a real mismatch in the economy. A North Carolina A&T professor says part of it comes from the economy overheating from growth and inflation pressures. He says another part stems from a shift in where the jobs are coming from.
Part of those jobs may actually be new jobs, because if they were previous jobs, people may have already been recalled and they were already taking their job back. But these might be new jobs that require different kind of skills that people had before the pandemic. Or people have maybe moved on to different jobs, and when they were called back, they actually already took a position somewhere else.
He says right now is a great time for workers. Businesses have to adjust wages and benefits to accommodate evolving needs in the labor market. He says the economic fallout remains unclear.
In the long run, we don't know whether this is going to be good news for the economy or not. It depends on whether employers trying to attract talent and trying to pay more to do so are going to transfer some of those increased costs to consumers or not.
Economists say people have good reason to worry about inflation. It is at the highest level we've seen it in 40 years. People are paying more across the board. The latest report, and food costs up nearly 8%. Consumers saw the highest jump in the energy sector, 25%. An economist worries that inflation can wipe away the progress made in the labor market.
And it really could choke off some of their margins, meaning they could make less money, and that might mean they slow down their hiring.
The Federal Reserve raised interest rates midway through last month, and that could also slow economic growth. Now, if you see a bunch of businesses with these kinds of signs, well, they need employees. Many businesses have struggled finding workers, and employment agents say they should try expanding their reach.
You got to have a strong internet presence on job boards. They're large. I would talk to NC Works. They are one of the best in the business in this area of doing that. I'd reach out to staffing firms. If you just have one method of doing it, you're going to fall extremely short. You've got to have dozens of ways of hiring.
He also recommends setting up employee referral programs. Current employees recommend candidates to boost their bosses, and they can get hired. The person who referred them gets some money as a thanks. Well, Guilford Works, wanted answers on the Great Resignation and why the job market looks kind of the way that it does. They sent out a survey months ago to collect that data. We got an early look at the numbers. About 61% of people are working. Nearly 70% of respondents say they want a job or a new career, and more than a quarter say they don't like their current jobs. A Guilford Works representative says it came down to two main factors.
Individuals feel that they're overqualified, or the type of work that's available right now is just not appealing. But more importantly, there are insufficient compensation, benefits, or incentives that are being offered currently and or positions that they're seeing out there. But, in a very close second place there, people who are actively looking for work or transitioning careers are really looking for high levels of flexibility.
That's Chris Rivera, the director for Guilford Works. Remote work started as a necessary way, of course, to keep the economy moving when the pandemic hit. Now, though, it is a reality that companies all across the country are having to adjust to. The vice president of a company says it's helped him fill openings.
Not only has this allowed us to tap into a lot more geographically distributed talent pools, but it's also really been able to see a huge uptick in just the overall interest in Dropbox. So our applicant volume nearly doubled year over year.
Almost 10% of job listings on Indeed are for remote workers. That's more than triple than when the pandemic started. Well, the economy has looked kind of weird since the pandemic began, right? We're facing a whole lot of different things all at the same time. The good news, one of the experts says he expects a more normal job market later this year. The rest of it, though, may take some more time to sort out.